Welcome to the Fossil Fundamentals podcast, brought to you by fossilsuk.com. I'm Byron, paleontologist, geologist, and lifelong fossil hunter. And in this show, we sit down with collectors, experts, and adventurers to uncover the real stories behind the fossils. Welcome to another episode of Fossil Fundamentals podcast. My name is Byron, and today is definitely one of the most unusual ones we've done so far. And because our guest owns the largest collection of fossilized poo in the world. Yes, actual dinosaur dung. He's the founder of the world-famous Poozeum in Arizona, a museum dedicated entirely to Coprolites, which is the scientific name for fossilized feces. He left his corporate career, sold his house, opened a museum dedicated entirely to fossilized poo. So today we're talking all things fossil poo, scientific discovery, world records, and how one man turned one of paleontology's strangest niches into an international phenomenon. Today's guest is all the way from Arizona, and he's George Frandsen. Welcome to the podcast, George.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be able to be a part of your podcast and to see you here. And I'm excited to chat about poo, old poo.
Yeah, very old poo. Yeah, I mean, how many times can we mention poo, dung, feces, shit in one podcast? Probably a lot.
It will be a lot, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Can we say shit on this, or are we?
I think we
feces or poo?
I think we just get away with that, but on a limited basis. I think
Keep it limited.
Feces we can get away with, and poo.
Perfect
is better. But yeah, I've known you through going to the Tucson shows and things, and you're contacting me directly to say, have you got any interesting fossil poos? So whenever I come across any interesting fossil poos, I know the man to talk to. But let's go right back to the beginning. How did you get into fossil collecting and into geology? And then how does that then lead into fossilized poo? I mean, obviously in a humorous way, probably.
Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, it's a strange story. I grew up in Utah, and that's in the western United States, and kind of in the mountain region. And the state is full of fossils from all times, a lot of dinosaur fossils and much earlier and everything in between. I grew up in the capital city for a bit. Then family moved out to a more rural area, and I discovered that I already loved dinosaurs and fossils.
Yeah,
I found that there were fossils not far from my house, old seabed fossils, marine fossils, that I could go find just on the hill behind my house. It was amazing.
Great. Yeah, no, that.
So as a childhood,
I think that's how most of us start, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's that, somebody hands you a fossil, or you go find a fossil and they say, check this out, and they explain it, and it's fascinating for a young person or even an older person.
Yeah, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. It's millions of years old.
Yeah, so Utah has great dinosaur and prehistoric museums. It's home of the Dinosaur National Monument, where there's the dinosaur wall with all the bones coming out of it.
Yeah.
That was my childhood when I grew up. And I should say, at this time, till I was 18, I had never heard of a fossilized poop or a coprolite before, because this kind of before the internet, right at its infancy.
Yeah.
And, they weren't around. They weren't in the books. They weren't in museums.
Yeah.
It wasn't a cool place like Lyme Regis, where they are a thing and people have seen them for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I started studying them and prehistory in college in eastern Utah, which is a great place for fossils, mining, such like that.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a rock and fossil shop. It's in Moab, Utah, which wasn't far from the college. And there was this piece, little piece in the case, and it looked like a poo.
Yeah.
Buddy, what is this in the case?
Yeah.
It looks like a turd. And he says, it is. It's a fossilized poop. It's a coprolite. And my mind was blown. Here's this thing that was so funny and gross and
Yeah, yeah,
fascinating,
yeah,
all wrapped into one.
yeah, yeah,
I bought it with, I had very little money, but it was so fascinating. I had to have it. Took it to my professor, who was brilliant, and he told me all about it, was a great
yeah, yeah,
mentor, told me that where I could go and find them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I started. Unfortunately, I found a lot of ones that were just rocks first, but he
yeah,
was
yeah,
nice
yeah,
enough to say, hey, buddy, not a coprolite.
yeah, yeah,
Finally, I started finding them, and my knowledge grew, and so did the collection because each one was different from the last.
yeah, yeah,
And fast forward, got out, studied paleontology, switched to archaeology and anthropology in university, got out, couldn't find a job doing either.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
ended up in a completely different field in
yeah.
corporate America.
I
But I
think that's
always
most.
kept,
I think most geologists do. I mean, they have a passion, but actually, day to day basis, you've got to make the bills pay. Unfortunately, don't you? At some point, uh, and
that's
uh,
that's
and
true.
and doing it part time is probably the way forward until you can find that avenue.
Yeah, and that was my case. A lot of people can transition to a paying job in the field. I couldn't do it. And I think the people who can, amazing,
Yeah,
much smarter, more brilliant than I am. So I ended up in a corporate job, corporate healthcare. It was a company that deals with all parts of the healthcare system. So in America, you have health insurance, and then you have clinics, hospitals, then administration, this whole framework,
yeah, yeah,
massive company. And I was overseeing their safety, security, logistics, and hospitality departments, which it was a great job. And most people would never, ever have left it. But what
yeah,
it
yeah,
allowed
yeah,
me to do is continue collecting, continue researching these pieces I cared so deeply about.
yeah, yeah,
And the collection kind of grew over time. When
yeah,
I
yeah,
travel for work or travel on vacation, I'd go to places where you could find fossilized poop or coprolites, like England.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Still love traveling to England. It's one of my favorite places
yeah,
to
yeah,
look for fossils.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's that kind of gets you up to 2 years ago when I opened the Poozeum.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that must have been a very difficult thing to do, to go from now's the time, let's get a place. I mean, that must have been a bit of a struggle
Sure,
personally,
it was
financially.
uh, because you know
You
we
just
had a
don't know
nice house, we had a
yeah, yeah,
nice job with
yeah,
benefits.
yeah, yeah,
You don't leave that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Especially, I started trying to just kind of handhold people into the concept. Like, what if I were to do a permanent museum?
yeah, 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 yeah,
And everybody said, "Well, how would you do that?" Well, it'd be free, and people
yeah,
would
yeah,
come and they'd buy souvenirs.
yeah, yeah,
I said,
yeah,
"No, that's the dumbest idea in the entire world. Never do that. Never leave your
yeah,
job.
yeah,
That's idiotic."
yeah,
And it probably was. But I was getting to a point. I should back up a little bit. I received the Guinness World Record in 2015 for the world's largest collection of coprolites.
yeah,
They
yeah,
did an official count. It was a big thing. And afterwards, what was the coolest thing that came out of that are these museums from all over the United States started reaching out saying, hey, can we borrow some pieces to display
oh,
at our
right, yeah,
museum?
okay, yeah, 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 yeah,
That's awesome. So I thought I was like
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of the only
yeah,
person who cared about this.
yeah, yeah,
And that went on for years and years. I would loan it, never made any money. In fact, I lost a lot of money doing it, but I thought it was important to
yeah,
see
yeah,
these fossils out and about in the public because nobody
yeah, yeah,
else is doing it.
yeah,
Still to
yeah,
this
yeah,
day, the
yeah.
biggest museums may have one to
Yeah,
three on display, but nothing else.
they might have one to as a kind of fun thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Or they'll put coprolite on it with it right by it, and people may not know what that is
yeah,
and walk
absolutely,
right
yeah,
by it because people have a lot of competing interests going on wherever they are.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't,
yeah, yeah,
it just didn't happen. And so I thought, this is a very popular thing I'm doing with these museums. I'm kind of tired of my job. I'd like to do something more meaningful with my life. I
Yeah, yeah.
feel I'm young enough that if it was a total disaster, I could leave or I could go back to work. I could go
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
get
yeah,
another job,
yeah.
hopefully, and start again. So we found this town of Williams. It's this charming little Western town. It's very based on tourism near the Grand Canyon. It has a
Okay,
train,
yeah,
a
yeah.
tourism train. It's got a drive through animal park, a coaster that goes down the mountain.
So
It's very
you
cool.
so you
Looks
got good footfall for a start.
great footfall. It's right on America's Route 66.
Yeah,
And I said, man, this town is perfect. If I could ever find a building in the historic walking district,
yeah, yeah,
I'm doing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm going to do it. And so I sat back and I had this in my mind and I started having the displays ordered. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
had this big bronze statue of a T Rex on a toilet I call the Stinker, uh, specially made because all museums have
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah,
centerpiece. You walk in and there's a
yeah,
big
yeah, yeah,
statue
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought that
yeah,
was very important. Had these incredible art pieces that look like old carnival banners, old
yeah,
carny
yeah,
banners
yeah, yeah, yeah,
to help tell the story. I just thought, you know what? Sooner or later, this will happen and I'll be ready.
yeah, yeah.
And then the day came where somebody said, I have a place. Are you interested? And it was an old saloon.
Right, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
saw it and it was perfect. It is
yeah, yeah,
one of those things that when you know.
yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
I put in my time. I said, I'm going to be resigning. People were shocked.
yeah, yeah,
They asked why. Then they about fell out of their chair. And off I went. And the Poozeum was born.
yeah, yeah,
And uh, I was probably one of the luckiest small business owners in the world because that first week I was open, so many media outlets wanted to make jokes about this
yeah,
crazy guy in
yeah, yeah,
Arizona
yeah,
making
yeah, yeah,
a fossilized poo museum that it went kind of viral.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
had
which is
instant
great. Yeah,
people coming in
yeah, yeah,
that first week I
yeah, yeah,
opened. So
yeah, great,
as
fantastic.
lucky as can be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better opening than that, I don't think.
No.
No, I mean, to get all the like say, all the viral coverage and what have you. I mean, it's fantastic, fantastic. Um, just looking at some of the questions. I mean, I've got so many
Sure.
questions here. It's just
Let's
incredible.
let's roll through 'em.
Yeah. It's. I mean, your friends and family must have thought, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" But now I bet they don't think that. I bet they think it's been the best thing ever.
Oh, so it's still a really mixed bag. Friends and I have a few friends that have been very supportive from the very beginning. I'd say a
Yeah,
small handful. The rest are still trying to figure out what's going on. Is this some kind of midlife crisis or later midlife crisis? And when am I going to get it together and
yeah, yeah.
do
But
something
if
real?
it showed you the receipts in
And
in the
it,
register, they'd change the tune probably.
you know what? I kind of feel like the people who want to see it, great. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you have a good time and learn a lot and
Yeah,
come
yeah,
away
yeah.
with a
Yeah,
positive
yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Those who are negative and don't understand, I'll give you I'll give you a chance and I'll try to explain it. But if they don't
yeah,
like
yeah,
it, I get it. It's not for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
fine.
Yeah, yeah,
And those are some of the people in my family and friends. Uh, and it's interesting because some people come in when they're the only ones there. You have
yeah,
this
yeah,
kind of ebb and flow through the day or the weeks, and they just like this poor guy. How is he going to make it?
yeah, yeah,
And then I have others like this weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. It was a holiday
yeah,
weekend
yeah,
here,
yeah,
and it was packed all weekend long. And
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, had several thousand people through a
Wow, that's great.
1,500 square foot
Yeah,
space. It's pretty small. I mean, a ton of
yeah, yeah,
fossils to see, but it's small because they
yeah,
share
yeah,
that with some merchandise, which you know that's how it works. I can't have a
yeah,
huge space because it's free. I
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
survive off merchandise.
Yeah, that's
but I
right.
have
Yeah.
such unique stuff that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
It ends up working out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I all I can say, I won't throw out numbers, but I think people would be shocked to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how much the Poozeum, this little free museum in Williams, Arizona, is doing
Yeah,
on an
yeah.
annual basis
Yeah,
compared
yeah.
to
Yeah.
some big rivals that actually charge and still have a
Yeah,
gift
yeah.
shop.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I would compete, I think, fairly well with some of them.
Yeah. No, that's I mean, it's fantastic, George. I mean, to take your passion and then turn it into, well, more than a hobby now, is your livelihood. But also, the biggest thing is educating the public about
Oh,
about
yes.
about the whole fossils and particularly coprolites. I mean, we're gonna get into that in a minute about the whole why why coprolites. That's what I generally get. Why are you so interested? Why are you so interested? It's interesting. And that's why I contacted you. I thought this is going to be great because a lot of people out there, like you said, there's a lot of people that don't know what a coprolite is. And then there's people who go, "Oh yeah, it's funny. I mean, is it still smelly and all that kind?" I get
Sure.
on the fossil tours that I do, I get whenever I find one, I go, "Oh look, here's one. Look, and the kids are like, "Oh," as they do. But then they realise that of what it then signifies. You see that light bulb above the heads, and it's like, that is interesting. And I think that's the great thing about coprolites and finding fossils full stop really. But
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's get into it for those listeners who might not realize, scientifically speaking, coprolites are actually very important fossils. So let's tell everybody why that is. So
Sure.
let's start with what is a coprolite? Why is it called a coprolite? And then we'll get into like all the heavy science that's behind it is great. I mean, I find it great. I'm
Let's
see
do it.
I'm a taphonomist, you see. So anything like this is fantastic for me because that you know fossils, something died or produced this. And what happens to that thing between it dying and then, sorry, and then you finding it is taphonomy. So anything that it's died, it then gets covered over, it then fossilizes, and anything that can happen in between that in those stages is taphonomy, and that signifies that typifies coprolites for me is that extra story behind it, and I love it. Yeah, go ahead, go on.
Yeah. So, as you said, coprolites are the fossilized feces of animals, all different kinds. And they can be some as young as, 15, 20,000 years old to many, many millions of years old, hundreds of million years
Yeah.
old. Coprolites comes from the Greek words kopros, poo, lithos or light, stone,
Rocks,
so
stones. Yeah. Yeah.
dung. And they're like these little great time capsules. They tell more than other fossils don't. So when you look at a coprolite, it can tell stories of the past. It helps. It's a really great tool for piecing together the prehistoric past. You can learn absolutely about the animal's diet, its
Yeah.
physiology,
Yeah.
animal behavior. There's some pieces out there that have bite marks in them that show interaction between the feces and a predatory animal of some kind. They also have teeth and other bones, so you can see what's eating
Uh,
what.
yeah. Yeah.
And you can learn a lot about the environment,
Yeah.
which
Absolutely.
they were
Yeah.
made. Everything
Yeah.
from the type of plants and
Yeah.
animals that live there,
Yeah.
which also help tell about the all around uh, nature of the place. Was it more of a desert? Was it more of a
Yeah.
marsh? Was it a
Absolutely.
prehistoric lake?
Absolutely.
So they're all combined in these little pieces that most people just kind of laugh off as like a joke fossil.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
for
scientifically, they're
me, they're the
more
most
important.
fascinating
Absolutely.
fossils there are. And they're
And
funny
also
and they give a
you
good laugh.
get an awful lot of, from the feces as well. You will get fossils inside the feces that you would not
Hmm.
necessarily get preserved in the actual outcrop itself anyway. So like you said, whatever it was eating, the palynology, the spores and pollen will get in there. Sometimes you can, uh, you know, all the ecology, all the paleogeography. It's a great snapshot of like a wind. I know we get all the funny jokes and what have you, but it's a
Yes.
great window into the life of that particular animal and what it was living with at the time, and the environment and everything. I find them fascinating myself. It's because because you've got so much information in such a tight area. It's great.
I absolutely agree. And so much of it you can see just by looking on the surface. Now, when people take them and study them more, like in an academic or institutional
Yeah, yeah,
setting, they're
yeah, yeah,
able to use scanners and see inside of them
yeah,
and
yeah,
learn all this new information. One study actually found a new species of beetle living in, they're not living, but fossilized inside the specimen that they had
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen before. You couldn't see
That's
it from
right.
the outside, but when they
Yeah, because
scanned it,
that would have
a whole
never
new
been
species.
preserved. Yeah, yeah. That would
Hmm.
never have been preserved in the rock. So you've got that yeah, incredible, incredible.
Yeah, they tell a very interesting story about the past.
Yeah, yeah,
And what's kind of neat is that they hold people's interest. I believe they hold people's interest a little bit more because when someone comes in and figures out what they are or learns what they are, they're okay. This is different. I've never seen one of these. Tell me about it, or why is it this?
yeah, yeah,
You can start sharing it, and their mind is kind of blown away because for so long, big museums haven't really focused on these
no,
types of fossils.
no, 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 no. And to be fair, it's you might find them you might actually find them in deposits. Like, for instance, if you find a dinosaur graveyard or something like that, you might actually find coprolites in there. But so actually,
Hmm. Absolutely.
the coprolites, not just finding the bones of the dinosaurs, which gives you obviously the information about those type, the mechanics, skeletal mechanics, but also you're finding the dinosaur feces that then tells you how it lived, the behavior, some of the behavior, and then some of the diet that it, you might find little tiny bits of bone from mammals, or you might find them other types of dinosaurs. I mean, obviously the classic one in is you find coprolites in Lyme Regis, where you find bits of crushed up bone in there. Very occasionally you find I have actually seen coprolites with ichthyosaur bones in. So the ichthyosaurs have either regurgitated or swallowed something. Another creature being scavenging on something. More often than not, it's hooklets and belemnites and fossil fish that are in the coprolites. Um, uh, y- but that's showing you the behavior and what it was feeding. So you're able to then not just extrapolate the actual skeleton of the creatures, but then the whole behavior, how it lived, how it how it reproduced, and all that kind of thing, which is fascinating, I think, and all that from a
Yeah,
fossil poo,
absolutely.
and the brunt of the joke, the bottom of the joke, as it were. Um, uh, but but it's probably the most important fossils you'll ever find is a fossil feces.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I should say, uh, doing the Poozeum, I've learned there's a lot of media geared towards young children
Yes, yeah,
that
yeah,
that now cover dinosaur poop or
yeah,
fossilized feces
yeah, yeah.
that wasn't around 10, 15 years ago, and it's
No,
starting to pop up, and
yeah,
it's become popularized through books and magazines and articles and YouTube clips made for kids
yeah, yeah,
where this generation, I think, will be in a totally different situation. Those young people who want to know about dinosaurs and past prehistoric life will have a foundation of coprolites that they can build off of because they learned about it in cartoons or books or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
which is
Yeah, yeah.
really cool. I wish I would have had it
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
a long
yeah.
time ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Um, I think we've already touched on this, but you'll have a lot more experience than I have with it. But what else has been found inside coprolites? Have you got any
So
example? I mean, you we're talking about the beetle that was found in there, but what kind of other things can we find in coprolites?
sure. So some of the most incredible inclusions, pieces of the remnants of the food that the animal ate that still show up on the surface of the poo. If you're not familiar, it's kind of like a modern day corn and peanuts, right? So
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
objects that they ate show up in a form on the surface, come from the Jurassic coast. Some just incredible pieces, right? Like you said, pieces of ichthyosaur bones,
yeah,
little
yeah,
bits
yeah,
of teeth and whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
Also, what?
Basically the indigestible remains of
Yeah, I
what it
mean,
was eating.
at the Poozeum, let me think. I've got a one with a prehistoric toe bone of a deer. I've got
Wow. Yeah,
several with teeth, either shark teeth, marine life teeth, and I actually have some with early mammals that lived
wow.
along
Yeah, yeah,
dinosaurs that's in the poop, and that's
yeah,
super rare.
yeah, yeah,
The reason teeth show up in poop kind of more often than not is because that enamel that surrounds the tooth
yeah, yeah,
helps
yeah.
protect it during the digestive process. So when it poops, if it's on the surface, it will probably last if the object's
Yeah,
fossilized.
I've had many fossils. Not many, but I've had quite a few fossils where they've actually basically teeth that have been basically passed through the digestive tract, and on its way through, it will obviously get acetic acid uh, patterns on there. So that's how you know it's been passed through the digestive
Hmm.
tract and then come out the other side. So I had a T-Rex tooth once that was
Wow.
clearly broken off the tooth, broken off one of the tips and passed through the digestive tract, and that was a cool fossil. But
That's pretty cool.
the most interesting one I've ever had was a hyena uh,
Oh, wow.
tooth, and that was from a very famous location in England called Cresswell Crags, which is a Pleistocene deposit in a cave system, and I found a lot of these hyena bones. And this one was clearly pitted because it had gone through the digestive system and come out the other side, or got regurgitated as well. I mean, I'm not sure if you have regurgitations in your museum as well, or is it just mainly poos?
So I think I may have one,
Yeah,
and it's a cross. Either it's a very, it probably started life as a very liquid, soft poo that
yeah,
landed on
yeah.
an ichthyosaur vertebra, or it
Okay.
was it vomited, and it's the vomit of an animal on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a vertebra. I don't. It's hard to tell. I go back and forth. I have different people look at it, and I've heard both, but
Yeah, yeah.
that is in there, and it's fun to look at because you have this, great bone,
Yeah,
round
yeah, yeah.
bone, and then there's this plop of all these tiny, looks like throw up. I mean, it looks almost fresh of all these little tiny bones and remnants of prehistoric animals.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I
So
mean
one of the neatest pieces that I have that have inclusions or bits of what it ate, I call it Barnum, and
yeah, yeah,
it's the world's largest fossilized poop ever discovered. They say by a carnivore, but they don't have one for a herbivore yet, so that's still out there
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
someone to get.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's filled with chopped up bones.
Wow. Yeah,
And you can see the bones, the pieces of dinosaur bone throughout it.
Yeah, so it's
And that's pretty incredible.
chomping on the remains of another creature, probably another dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean, you'll be sending a photograph of that to me, so I can put it on the podcast. It's a very l the largest poo known. It's
No, that's big.
humongous, yeah.
20, 26 inches by 6 inches. And what's neat is there's a couple other, it's not the only one, it's the biggest one, but there are some others attributed to tyrannosaurs. And they all have this chopped up bone internal structure, I mean, inside of it. So it shows, scientists are learning a lot about these because it shows kind of about the digestive system from T Rex. That it
Yeah,
wasn't a
yeah.
big chewer, it was just kind of chomp, chomp, and then
Yeah, yeah.
down.
Yeah, yeah.
And digestive process was fast. And so when it pooped, it still had bones coming out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they reckon that the Barnum is actually, probably the world's largest poo, but also from a T-Rex.
Yeah, so they
Highly
leave
likely.
that specific thing kind of up in the air. However, from the place it was found in the Hell Creek Formation
Yeah,
in
yeah.
northwest South Dakota, in that time and place, there's no other large carnivore that could make a poo as big as Barnum.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
another big carnivorous dinosaur is discovered in the Hell Creek, well, we might have some
Yeah,
great
yeah.
debate on which one it is. But right now, and I'm pretty certain it's from a T Rex. I just don't know what else would have made it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
everybody
particularly the
and the
size
officials say
and the
attributed.
yeah, the fact that it was some kind of meat eater,
Mhm.
clearly. It wasn't like, there was bigger creatures there at the time, but they were plant eaters. They weren't chomping down on bone, were they? So it's a what's the word I'm looking for? A calculated thought that it's gonna be T-Rex
Yes.
from based on the, looking at others that have been found and based on the fact that, it's from the Hell Creek. It couldn't have been anything else. You've only got this number of, like, 10 dinosaurs that have ever been found there so far, and therefore, it can only be one of a very few, and that's the biggest one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's, incredible. What have you ever been out collecting, trying to find them yourself?
I do. That's my favorite thing to do. If someone
Yeah,
waved a magic wand and dropped bags of money at my feet, I would hire someone to run the Poozeum because I think it's important to have that out. I mean, I should stress it. The Poozeum is free. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
free for anyone and everyone who wants to look at it to come in and see. They don't
yeah,
have to donate. They don't have to buy a ticket. They just get to experience it. I think that's important.
yeah, yeah,
And so I get these bags of money and I can go out and do whatever I want. I'm going out to go look for fossils. Before here, I lived in Florida. And in Florida, you get a state fossil permit. I think it's $5. And then
yeah, yeah,
you can go look for fossils in the rivers and you
yeah,
can
yeah,
find a lot of fossilized poo there. That was fun. I lived in the mountain states in the US a lot and I go there. I have friends that own property that are nice enough to invite me to go look there.
yeah, yeah,
I've been to England. I've been to Morocco. I've
yeah, yeah,
actually just got back this year from China and Myanmar, not so much to collect out looking, but to learn and research
yeah, yeah,
about pieces there. Uh, Anywhere I can go to, I think, further my knowledge and skills and hopefully add to this collection. And I should say, legally, everything is
yeah, yeah,
legally acquired, found, and brought into the collection. I'll
yeah,
do it. There's
yeah,
so Museum has probably pieces from about 15-ish different countries, maybe more. There would be a lot more, but there are countries that don't allow export
right,
of fossils.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
considered a national trust
yeah,
in
yeah,
the national trust and they don't leave,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is great. However, they do it. But if I do have an opportunity to bring something in,
yeah, yeah,
I want to have it and share it so people can learn about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for those who are going out in the field and how would you spot one?
So it's funny. It depends where you are. Different locations have kind of a different look for their poos. The ones down on the Jurassic Coast have a pretty unique look to them. A lot of them are round, they're layered, they have little bits of stuff through them. They're gray to a dark brown.
Yeah, yeah,
Some of them almost look like a little tornado. I
yeah,
call them
yeah,
turdnadoes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But you can find them there. Uh, in places like Montana, they have more of a poo look. They're little, they can be either be little pellets
yeah,
or
yeah,
bigger, very classic looking logs
yeah, yeah,
shape. In Florida, they're brown and they look just like big poos.
yeah,
Same with
yeah,
the Carolinas. They had
yeah,
a
yeah,
really great fossilization process there. So when people are looking for meg
yeah,
teeth, or they're in
yeah,
the stream beds, they
yeah,
find them,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
have a very
Yeah,
unique
I've had
look.
a few of those,
So
and they do look like they've been excreted.
yeah, in
Is the
short,
right
it's
word.
if I'm out there looking, it's size and shape. Is it cylindrical? Is it layered? Does it come to a point? A lot of them do because prehistoric animals pinched it off way
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then
yeah,
too, leaving
yeah,
these marks. Does it have
yeah,
those little inclusions, little bits of food that we were talking about earlier that show up on the surface? And end of the day, if you find this incredible piece and you think, well, that could be a rock, maybe it's geologic, it's missing some features to be totally certain, or coprolite, there's a test called X-ray fluorescence testing, or XRF testing. It's a scanner that's used to tell the elements of a piece.
yeah, yeah,
And what you're looking for are phosphorus and calcium in the same object. If you find those together, you've most likely got a poo because those don't occur naturally. And so if you can scan it or send a piece away to a lab to have it done, that will tell you a poo versus rock too.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
that's like the
when we're
official
on
way.
when we're on the fossil trips, and I find one, I always that's the thing I point out. You know, it's a tan brown color because it's high in phosphates, and phosphates only occur through natural bodily processes. And so that's how I find them is looking for that kind, particularly on the Yorkshire coast. It kind of like an orangey brown color in the rock in the Yorkshire coast. But they sometimes do have a little bit of a turn, or they might have a little bit of a extrude with it being extruded. So I mean that's how you can tell, and then if you're lucky enough, you've got something else in it with bits of bone or shell or whatever, or belemnite ulculates. You know, always look for kind of like, well, let, let's not put too fine a point on it. Just look like a turd coming
Yeah.
that you might see in the pot. Um, but it will be solidified, and it won't
Yes.
look like, it'll look like a stone, but not of the surrounding rock. So
Exactly.
it will stand out against like Lyme Regis or even in Utah and what have you. It won't look like the host rock. It will look different to the host rock, and that's how more likely it's going to be a trace fossil. But more often than not, in the right areas, is going to be a coprolite. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. They it's people, and that's the thing. People see them in the Poozeum, and sometimes they're like, "Well, maybe that's just a rock." And it's because they're out of context. You put them in a nice glass case without the surrounding sediments. Yeah, it kind of looks like a rock, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
amongst other rocks, it definitely looks different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a great proponent for. Um, I like my fossils on the host rock as much as possible because it gives you that context. It gives you that context of you see an awful lot of dinosaur teeth as well on the market. I mean, we've both seen an awful lot of dinosaur teeth. But I prefer them on the rock because if you've got a little bit of the rock, you can then tell where it's come from better than actually off the rock.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
personally, because because the rock can give you sometimes more information than the actual tooth itself. It can just be a tooth or a piece of bone, but you haven't got the context of how it was found in that rock, or the rock around it can give you um, some of the information that the coprolites can give you. You know, it can give you information about the lithology, the paleoecology, chemicals that are around at the time when it was deposited, and that's all the information you can get from the coprolite as well. It's,
Yeah, I think it's important, fossils, whether they're in the rock or outside of it. For me, it's the story they can tell. What does
yes,
this piece,
yeah,
what story does it tell? And
yeah, yeah,
if it's left in the rock, does it tell a, a better story? Does it tell a more
yeah, yeah,
interesting,
yeah, yeah,
full story of where it's from or what it's about? So I
yeah, yeah,
absolutely agree. It's all about what we can learn from it. So if it's kind of not where it started, the story's not there.
yeah, yeah,
It's much better if you have the matrix or the rock around it that helps tell that story. Some fossilized poops don't come in the rock. They're found alone and just amongst everything else, just perfectly sitting there like you would find a regular old poo.
yeah, yeah,
And for those, you just have to know the area and to be able to describe it if you're sharing that piece with someone else.
yeah, 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 yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, we'll get on to the your world records. So you've officially hold the world record for the largest coprolite, which we've talked about,
Yes.
Barnum, but also another one for for the the sheer number of coprolites as well. So how did that come around? Did you get contact? Did somebody contact them on your behalf, or how did that all
So
work?
yeah, that was an interesting experience. So it'd be kind of mid 2014, a little earlier. I had a lot of, I had this big collection, and people would joke, "Well, you've got the most. Uh, who would
Yeah,
have more poops than this guy?"
yeah,
And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? It's right. I had already created a Poozeum website, and it was all
yeah, yeah,
about just copperlight education.
yeah, yeah,
And I thought, you know what? I might. So I Guinness World Records has a form that you can submit your idea to earn a
yeah, yeah,
record.
yeah, yeah,
So I did that, and I didn't hear from them for a bit until I did uh, a while later, and they're like, "We are interested. This is an interesting
yeah, yeah,
record attempt. Here are the requirements."
yeah,
And
yeah,
holy smokes, not what I was expecting. So they send you this list of requirements. In short, it was everything basically has to be a database or spreadsheet with the item, weight measured, where it was from, everything about it, right?
yeah, yeah. So
You have to have
properly catalogued. Yeah,
yes, it has to be properly cataloged, and you have to have photos of each one. And at this time, and now that's not a problem. I've always kept super good records because I
yeah,
think that's
great.
important
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
pieces in the collection.
yeah.
So that part was an issue. And then the count had to be held in a public place, preferably a natural history museum. It had to be videoed, and each piece had to be inspected by two
Wow,
paleontologists.
wow, wow.
And I thought, well, that's not too bad. I mean, what natural history museum wouldn't want to do this? This is cool.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was living in Florida at the time, and that was the first step. I got to find a venue. So I started in Jacksonville. Everybody said no. There
Okay,
wasn't a lot. There was a children's museum and a small. Uh, there was another museum that could have worked a science museum. They said no. So went out a little bit. They said no. They I'll get to the point. I went out 6-hour drive in all directions
gosh.
other than out to sea, trying to find a museum that would do it.
Yeah.
and
Wow.
everybody said no.
Gosh.
They thought it was a joke, or I don't know what they
Yeah.
thought. They wanted
Wow.
no part of it. I finally found, the Bishop Museum down in Bradenton, Florida,
Yeah.
which I said is 5, 6 hours away,
Wow.
and they
Yeah.
said, "Yes, let's do it. We love it. We're gonna do this big thing. We're gonna take
I
care
mean,
of it."
you would have thought it'd be great advertisement for the museums, wouldn't you? I mean, it's
Well,
incredible.
that's the karma that comes back around. So, they did it, and then I was trying to find 2 paleontologists, and I'll tell you, paleontologists, they work so hard to build a name and a reputation
Right,
for
okay.
themselves.
Right, okay.
Not a lot of them want to be attached to a turd count, even
Yeah,
if it's a prehistoric one, and
yeah.
that took
Again, the joke element, isn't it? Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
that took a couple months to find
yeah,
2 people willing to do it, and so we did the count early morning to late afternoon during the entire opening of the museum, and we got to 1,277 pieces. There were some more, but it was like everybody was done. People were tired, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
called it a day. It ended up being the biggest. Great. Check that off. Got the record. And what was amazing is it was kind of quiet after that. And the museum said, well, now that the pieces are all here, can we display them?
yeah,
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 that would be awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Well, not long after, it hit the media,
yeah, yeah,
and not just local, it hit worldwide media,
yeah, yeah,
and then it got in the book, and people, they got a huge amount of free press because
yeah.
they held the count,
Absolutely,
and
yeah, yeah,
everything that
absolutely.
talked about it told the name of their museum.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then because they had the collection, people went to go look at it.
yeah, yeah,
It truly helped. So that's what I was saying. There was a karma to it. They were willing to take this chance, and it ended up paying off, I think, very well that they had that collection because they had it during this, when it was at the top, at the peak of its fame for that time. And everybody got to come in and see it who wanted to, that was in that area. So I greatly appreciate everybody that was involved in that process and just getting it done. What else was really neat about that was that's when the museum started reaching out saying, hey, we saw it down there. When it's done there, can we get a couple
yeah,
pieces for our museum?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And people from all over the world, like, I have a piece, I want to send it to you. Or I have those here
Right,
on the
yeah,
property.
yeah, yeah.
Come look for them with
Come look
me.
for yeah, yeah, yeah,
So the collection went from, a couple thousand, which is substantial, to many, many thousand.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
all the press right now says over 8,000, and that's fine. I'll go with that, and that's true. But I think if we got down to a true count, there'd be much more than that.
wow.
I've stopped
Yeah,
really going for just quantity, and now it's museum grade. What does this piece tell? Will this hold
yeah,
a
yeah,
8-year-old's attention,
yeah,
and
yeah,
why?
yeah, yeah,
That is more important to me than numbers anymore.
yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah,
that to tell a story,
yeah, yeah,
because it feeds back into the museum where people actually see these fossils, real fossils, and learn from them. So
yeah,
that's my goal now. Not so
yeah. So
much as many. If
do
someone
you,
comes and says the record still stands at 1277, even though Guinness has said it's many thousands more than
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
someone out there could beat it.
yeah, yeah,
And that's life. That's what Guinness is about, right?
yeah,
Uh, my goal is education now and inspiring young people to learn about
absolutely.
fossils, the prehistoric past, and kind of think differently. Not that, hey, science has to be boring. It doesn't.
No,
Science can be funny. It can be cool.
yeah, yeah,
It can
yeah,
be a little bit naughty. Let's
yeah, yeah,
let's kind of open some minds here, and that's what it's about for me right now.
Yeah. So do you wait in the museum? Do you exhibit the the fossil with an interpretation of what you're actually seeing, or how does that work?
Sure. So we have these big museum display cases. Inside, each fossil is either on the ground or on a stand, and there's a number to it. That number goes back to a placard. There's one on the front of there's two. There's one higher, there's one lower
Yeah,
for to make sure everybody can see them.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it tells the basics, right? Where it was from, size, maybe
yeah, yeah,
what made it or what makes it interesting. And then it has a catalog number. So if I ever get hit by a bus and someone comes in and locks down the place and says, we need to make heads or tails of this collection,
yeah, 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 yeah.
each catalog number goes back to its
Yeah,
specifics.
I mean that's to be fair, that's what I've been trying to tell a lot of collectors that I know is the importance of cataloging your collection, because you never know what's around the corner, do you? So,
No, you
you know,
don't.
to make sure that it's all catalogued, some kind of database or even a book with a number. You could ascribe a number onto the item, as in you can use a little bit of what we call Tipex, and then write a number on it, which won't damage the fossil, and then assign that number into a database and have all that information inside. It's almost, to be fair, it's almost as important as the actual item itself sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a really good program I use. It's called Airtable. It's the
Okay,
basics of it are free, and it's a
right,
database program, and you can build it however you want it. But it has easy to load for photos and videos, so you
right,
can have
okay,
all your
yeah, yeah,
information.
yeah,
Drop a video of your piece or drop photos of your piece. So if somebody clicks on it, everything is there. It has got wide text boxes for
yeah, yeah,
longer descriptions, and you can export it to Excel or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
It's a really nice tool outside of Excel that you can use to help manage collections. That doesn't
yeah,
cost a dime.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, yeah, very interesting. What is the rarest and most significant one that you've got in the collection, apart from Barnum?
Oh,
Sorry.
wow. That's
I
a
mean, they're
great
all unique. I
question.
know they're all unique, but there might be one
Yes.
that might pique pique people's interest more than the others.
So I have a couple funny things. Of course, Barnum is the one that really draws people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people
because
always want to see the
that's the
biggest
biggest
and
one,
the
and it's a
best.
T-Rex.
Yeah. There's two others that really pull people's attention. One is one from Florida that I found. I mean, it was small, just a few inches. I bring it home. It has got mud on it, and taking the toothbrush to it, getting that mud off under the sink, and it just splits in my hand.
Oh, right.
I mean,
Oh, right,
I
yeah.
guess I should have been more careful, whatever,
Yeah,
question it, what I was doing. I made a mistake. But then it opens up, and inside are these bright iridescent colors. Every color of the rainbow is in this turd, is in this fossil poo, and it's incredible looking.
yeah,
And I've tried to find other ones that are similar or have the same any type of iridescent patterns inside the poo, and I can't do it. I'm not talking just like a little strip or something. The entire internal side that you can see is iridescent colors.
right. And,
And
what do you think that is going on there then?
so I think what happened is somewhere along the line, if it was fossilized and it had a crack in it, uh, water and minerals were able to seep into that crack, and that's what one create, help create the iridescent colors, the layering that
Yeah,
helps
yeah,
that form. And because there was a crack there, when I went to brush it, it was pre-existing. I don't think I
yeah,
was
yeah,
using, when I'm looking back, I don't think I was using too much pressure
yeah,
where it
yeah,
split. So that one's pretty fascinating.
yeah, yeah.
The other one, which is really cool, and it's not even a coprolite, I have a case called fossilized farts. All right.
Okay.
And these are insects that from Baltic amber, right? So
Yeah, okay,
insect
yeah.
gets
Yeah, yeah.
stuck in tree resin,
Yeah, yeah.
gets covered.
Yeah.
Bacteria in their body starts doing their thing and creates a gas.
Yeah, yeah.
That gas has some options. Like with most animals, gas can bloat them. You'll see animals that are bloated. Gas can escape out the front,
Yeah.
and gas can escape
Okay.
out the back. And
Yeah, yeah.
these particular specimens, each little insect, there's three of them, has this tiny little gas bubble right from the back. So
Wow.
that shows that the resin was soft enough where it could escape, but not soft enough where it could bubble
Escapes the
out
atmosphere. Yeah,
away
yeah.
from
Wow.
the piece.
That is just amazing. I don't think I've ever heard of a fossil fart before. That is just
Most people
incredible.
haven't. They do exist. They can be found in
I'm gonna have to look through all my amber now that I've got in the
dude.
tomorrow. I'm gonna be
So
looking through all the amber just in case I've got any.
yeah, so a lot of amber has air bubbles in it. You'll
It does,
see
yeah,
air
yeah,
bubbles in it.
yeah. Which I find
Uh,
quite interesting anyway, because that air bubble is a snapshot of a prehistoric atmosphere, which is incredible.
yes, so cool. And so, but you kind of got to watch. These are particular to the. There aren't many bubbles around it. These are particular kind of almost growths off that piece on the back.
Wow.
So it's identifiable. No one else is showing these. There have been other pieces found and discovered. They aren't, I don't think, because I have three, so they can't be super rare. They're out
No,
there. It
no.
just takes someone understanding what it might be and giving it a
Now,
second look.
I've got to say, I'm not entirely sure anybody would. It's probably, I mean, it's probably a collection bias. What we call a collection bias is basically nobody's looking for it. There's only probably a few people that are looking through amber and looking for farts. But I will be
Very
from
few,
now on. I can assure you.
very few people. But that's funny. Kids love that. Kids
Yeah,
love these things.
absolutely.
Like either
Yeah,
a
I'm just
poo
like a
with a
big kid anyway.
rainbow,
I just love it. Yeah, yeah,
what? Or
yeah.
farts, a fossil with a fart. I'm telling you, kids and adults love it. They take pictures and they stand by and get selfies. These are the type of things. It's different and it's geared towards the general public, doesn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and which
But that's capturing their
really helps.
imagination, isn't it? That's capturing their imagination, and then they're asking the questions, and that's the important thing. They're asking the questions
Yes.
then, but how? But how or why or when or and that is the most I think that's most critical part of it is they're then using their brains to then instead of just looking at their phone screens or whatever, they're actually engaging and saying, "That's interesting. Tell me more about it."
Yes. Yeah. And I find a lot of people, they'll go tell their friends. They'll say, I went to a poop museum. And they're like, you went to the poop museum? That's gross. Oh no, I'll
Yeah,
tell you about it.
yeah, yeah,
It's not gross. They've turned to stone and
yeah, yeah,
this and that. And
yeah.
uh,
Well, I
a
mean,
lot of word of mouth.
look at us. Look at us having a podcast about it, to basically to tell everybody else about it, So, we're doing exactly the same. It's brilliant. When I set up my company as well, the biggest thing I was trying to think of was what to call it. I mean, obviously I've got the website and then but my shop is called Natural Wonders Limited. That's the official company name, but Natural Wonders is the shop name. And I was always trying to come up with an interesting shop name that says everything you do in there in one or two words. And I think you've done it perfectly in the
Well, thank you.
Poozeum. I mean,
I
how
appreciate
did
that very
how
much.
did that come about? I mean, obviously, we probably can all think about how it came about. It's poo and it's a museum, so Poozeum. But who came up with that? Did you come up with that, or did somebody
Yeah,
else come up with that? Yeah,
no, that was mine. So years and years ago, probably started on it in 2013 and just trying to think of names. And it's like Poop Museum or Coprolites online,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
Coprolite.
yeah,
To try to find something that worked on a lot of levels was hard. I went through a lot of options, and I probably secured or reserved a few website names that
yeah, yeah,
never worked. But as soon as I heard, you know, in my mind, I was like poo, and I had museum, and I was just on paper going through all the different options. It came, and I'm like, poop museum, no, take out the Poozeum. Why did I not think of that?
yeah, yeah.
And I
Perfect.
changed the S to a Z
Yeah, yeah,
because it it phonetically it's a Z,
yeah, yeah,
Poozeum,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
museum.
yeah, yeah,
And then it was born.
yeah,
And so it became a website. I got the domain. That was the greatest thing.
yeah, yeah,
It's because it was such a unique name.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was able to get every associated uh, domain
yeah, yeah,
without issues. There
yeah,
wasn't any
yeah,
trademark infringement or
yeah,
even
yeah,
something close. And still to that day, now I have the trademarks and everything for it. But it's worked. It's catchy. People remember it. I'm lucky. It's something that caught, and I've just been very fortunate that it's worked over this time.
yeah. I mean, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant, brilliant piece of
Thank you.
A, marketing, and B, brand identity. Is you know, 'cause I like that kind of side. I like that side of business is marketing and you know, like for instance, when I first started my shop, it was people said, why are you painting the shop green?" I said, "Well, when you come down the end of the street, um, nobody was going down that lane, you know, when I first opened, and visually, I wanted a colour that out the corner of your eye caught your attention. So
Yes.
then you automatically look and go, "Oh, what's down there? We'll have a look down there." And that's the whole reason. And, you know, so I love the, you know, like the psychology of all that, you know, the fact that colors can make you do certain things, the right type of music, the way you enter into a department store is always a left turn. If you ever go to, I'm pretty sure you've got IKEA or
Oh
IKEA
yeah.
or whatever it's called now these days. If you go into IKEA, it's always a left turn. There's a reason for that. You know, it's always a left turn. As you go around, it's always a left turn. The reason for that is everybody goes into a department store. They automatically, the left-handed or right-handed, they always turn left. They've done research on that. So that's why I was asking you about the naming and what have you, because it it it, it taps into all that, and I find that fascinating. The psychology of shop ownership, and then getting the right colours. I believe you're probably the same as me, where it's a bright colour on the outside as well, so it's going to capture people's attention. Mine's yellow as well because it's a warm colour, therefore it's a happy, warm colour. So before they come into the shop, it's a warm, happy notion in their head before they come into the shop,
Yeah,
and all
you
that
you
plays a
wanna make
part.
it you wanna make it inviting, and part of me,
Absolutely,
so I
yeah,
have these kind of I have this passion for creativity, and I like marketing. I've
yeah,
never done
yeah,
it professionally, but I love what interests people. It
yeah, yeah,
fascinates
yeah,
me
yeah,
what
yeah,
interests
yeah,
people and what gets people's attention.
yeah, yeah,
So, before this logo, I had a kind of one with a skeleton that was kinda more adult, and I said, "Well, I'm doing this. Kids are gonna need to
yeah, yeah,
see it and
yeah, yeah,
fix on it." So you've got this terrible, I'm just gonna say it. It's terribly ugly, logo. It's bright. The colors
yeah, yeah,
should
yeah,
never, ever be together.
yeah,
And you have this big green dinosaur on a toilet, and I got this big round sign, and it's hanging off the store on to Route 66, where a lot of cars drive
yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah,
Poozeum is in yellow across the top of this building, but people don't know what that is. what gets people is kids see the dinosaur
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
it's
yeah.
a cartoon, it's an
Yeah,
animation,
yeah,
and it's on
yeah,
a toilet. And some of
yeah.
them know the word poo and they get it. It connects very quickly. And then they're like, well, we got to go there. And parents are like, what in the bananas is that?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so that's what gets people in the door. And then inside, I really get, because I'm a one man shop, as you get to make the decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I get to create products that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've got some very odd Poozeum branded stuff. In fact, I just came out. I don't, I can send you a picture of one. It's a 26-inch stuffed novelty poo of Barnum. And it's smiling and
Okay.
it's big and all kinds of different stuff that if I were to go to some other company or business and say, here's my idea,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd be laughed out of the room.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the stuff that sells.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's fun for me. It keeps my mind sharp, thinking of ways to, stay in business, get new people, get return customers.
Yeah, yeah,
As you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's important to provide a really good service and help people and care about people because then they'll come back. They'll say, well, he did me right. He gave me a good price or he's very knowledgeable, whatever. And they'll keep coming back.
Here's a question for you. I've got a question.
Okay.
I've just been trolling
Sure.
through these questions that I've got. I mean, we've gone through a lot already. It's brilliant. Um, have you ever turned down a specimen that was so ridiculous?
So, yes, some people value their fossil outside of market conditions. All right.
Okay,
You've
yeah,
probably seen it. I
yeah, yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah,
T Rex tooth, or I have this coprolite that I found. It's very important to me, and
yeah,
that
yeah,
equates the value in their head,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
beyond what the market bears.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've had a lot of those people come to me and say, hey, I want to sell this to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But either they don't have where it's from, they don't,
Yes,
provenance is very
yeah,
important.
yeah,
If they don't have
absolutely.
it, I don't take it because I
Yeah,
need to know where it's from, that it was
absolutely.
legally collected,
Yeah,
that I know the age and area where it was discovered. All those things are important to me. Even if it's really cool, if they don't have that, doesn't come in.
yeah. It comes
What's
comes
worse,
back to what we were
uh,
talking about earlier about properly. If you find a fossil, proper cataloguing it, even out in the
yeah.
field, and then cataloguing it when you get back, and making sure all that information is together is sometimes more important than the actual thing itself.
Yeah, so I get this a lot, and it's hard for me. I haven't found a nice way to do it yet, or the best way to do it yet. People bring in a a rock or some kind of
Yeah, yeah,
specimen, and it's been, it was grandpa's, and grandpa gave it to dad,
yeah,
and
yeah,
dad passed it to
yeah,
the son or daughter, and it's been in the family, and it's been a story. Oh, grandpa said that was a dinosaur poop,
yeah, yeah,
and how much is it worth, or what can you tell me about it?
yeah.
And you've got to be the one that says,
Sorry.
it's
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
it's a rock.
yeah. It's very
Its
difficult.
value is in the memories,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
sentimental value.
Yeah,
You don't have to believe me. I'm just sharing what I think I know about it. And here are some other avenues you can use to go find more information if
yeah, yeah,
this isn't good
yeah,
enough.
yeah. I
And
find that very tricky myself as well. People bringing
send
things
them
in
in the
and
right direction.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
It's
mean,
very
it's tough
difficult.
because, like, and I'm sure you have too, you've picked up a lot of things, and I've picked up a lot of things that end up being rocks or
Yeah, yeah,
nothing
yeah,
that
yeah,
just are peculiar geologic features.
yeah.
And
I mean, you get a
I
lot of.
appreciate.
I mean, obviously, we frequent social media a lot, and
Mhm.
you get a lot of things that mimic things. So here's a snake head or here's an embryo of a dinosaur and it's just a piece of rock. And it is very difficult to
Yes.
tell those people, I'm very, very sorry, but it is just a piece of rock. In my experience and what have you, that is what I'm what I am believing it is. Um, and it's a funny it's called pareidolia. Is the correct term for it, is pareidolia, which is seeing familiar things in unfamiliar surroundings. So
It's interesting.
that's kind of like a very basic very, but it's a psychological. I'm getting a bit too technical now, but telling people that they're psychologically unhinged. But it's a psychological condition. So for instance, you might see like a rock feature and it looks like a lion's head. Um, or the classic example is obviously the man in the moon. There is no man in the moon, but you can look at the moon and it looks like two eyes and a mouth, and it looks like a face on the moon. And that is the classic case of pareidolia, where you're finding like a piece of rock, um, and your brain is interpreting it as it must be some kind of fossilized material, because that's the only. It's so unusual that it must be that, and it's the brain interpreting that from the data that's been given, and outwardly projecting that. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
find that fascinating
and
as well.
the internet is wonderful and great, and now AI too to help identify
Huh.
pieces, but
Well,
it's
yeah,
also
yeah. I get a
terrible.
lot of that though, George. I get a lot of Google Lens tells me that it's this, and I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
please don't use Google Lens.
You got folks got to be careful. When I was coming up and I started really getting into collecting and getting pieces, sometimes I'd buy pieces off eBay that they had a very official where it was found and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I had a great paleontologist look at my collection. And he's like, "What is this?"
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, "No,
yeah,
that's a coprolite."
yeah,
No,
yeah,
George, that's a this or
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
this,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and it was sad, and I was really disappointed that some of these
yeah, yeah,
pieces weren't.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But what it did, one, I got those out of the collection because it's really important to me to have real pieces,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it made me better at re-examining and really taking a deep look at every piece to make sure it is what it is. Am I right all the time? No, not at all. But
no,
I
yeah,
put a lot of effort into provenance and knowing if it is or isn't a fossilized
yeah.
poo.
But also it's finding places or people that can help you do that, to say, look,
Yeah.
and then you like for me, I'm kind of like a sponge all the time. I'm always constantly remembering things. So if somebody then tells me, oh, by the way, it's not that, it's actually this, I'm going to then remember that better. Or have you thought, if you have a look at this book or that book or the other, you can see an example of this. But yeah, I mean, on the internet, it can be particularly on the Facebook and what have you, it can be brutal,
Well, and then
quite frankly.
Facebook is especially brutal because you got a lot of people who are just trolls and know nothing. So people will
Yeah,
post
yeah,
something
yeah,
and really want
yeah,
an expert opinion, and you'll see
yeah,
the experts chime in. There are some brilliant people on some of those
yeah, yeah,
forums and
yeah,
groups,
yeah,
but then you have all the trolls like, no, that is the dinosaur embryo. That
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
skull of whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And there's so much of it, the person leaves without
with not the right
having
answer. Yeah,
yeah, it's sad.
yeah,
So it is a minefield. You really got to learn how to navigate it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, 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 yeah. And this has been fascinating, George, really has. So I haven't got many, but I've got a quick fire round for you. Uh,
Let's
so
do it.
let's do it. So, what's the weirdest animal poo you've ever seen?
The weirdest animal poop. That's a good question. Uh,
See, these. I tell you what, it's supposed to be the quick fire round, but I always outfox somebody on these because I'm putting them on the spot. Yeah,
let's let's go wombat.
A
square
wombat.
poos
You got
that
a wombat poo from
s- from a
Tasmania
zoo.
or from a zoo?
So they have little cubed poos. They're fascinating. So
They've got
they're
what
probably the
did you
most
say cubed?
interesting current cubed. They are like a dice.
Really?
They're cubed. Yeah, check out a wombat poop.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look at
You'll
that
be
in a minute. Yeah,
fascinated.
yeah, I'm gonna be fascinated with that. Here's a really good question. I didn't come up with this one, but this one's a really good one. Has airport security ever questioned what you've got in your luggage?
Absolutely. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
a lot of times, totally. I moved a lot of pieces around to different exhibits and stuff so people could see them. And a lot of times, or I've been invited on shows and whatnot that
yeah,
required
yeah,
bringing
yeah,
pieces
yeah, yeah.
to a place. Well, I have these hard shelled cases with
Oh,
foam
yeah, yeah, yeah,
inside,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and the pieces are embedded. So they go through the screener
yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah,
don't can't see through them. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
open it up. What are these? Well,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
fossils. What kind of fossils?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And well, they're fossilized poo. No, really,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah,
you,
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
fossilized poo.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it's
sure
always
that
kind of
this
humorous.
I mean, the stories you could tell me about that, it'd be fantastic, really. Because yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it could be just it looks like an elongated with rounded ends probably sometimes. It could look like a bomb.
Yes. I mean, it's a
So,
dark thing that they can't see
yeah,
through.
it's
So
not a
they
thing you can't see through. You can understand them opening it up, but then they think you're taking the, Michael, as we say in England, not to say rude words, but yeah, taking the Michael, by saying that it's a fossil poo, when it actually is a fossil poo, but they think you're being clever with them, which can probably get you into a lot of trouble, probably.
yes. But I always try to be kind and considerate because these are people who don't know and maybe they'll learn and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
both leave in a better place, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, what's the funniest reaction you've ever had from a visitor?
I I get a lot of people who just walk in and are like, "I saw your sign. What is this?" And I
Yeah, yeah.
explain it to them, and their jaw drops, and they're like, "What? This can't be
Yeah,
real."
yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, you take someone who's never even been in a natural history museum, never maybe been
Yeah,
in a
absolutely, yeah,
museum,
yeah, yeah, great.
and then they're here and they get to learn about
Yeah, yeah,
this piece of
yeah,
natural
yeah,
history
come and have a look
that
at
they've
this
never
specimen
heard.
over here, and yeah,
Yeah, and it's funny, and one moment they had knew nothing about it, had no intent to go in, and now they're here learning about it, and they're
but
having
then
a
but
good
then the
time.
but then they're gonna go out, and go to their family and say, "Oh, I really went to this place," and it's I tell them all about it, and then also they then go, actually, when the next near a natural history museum, they're gonna go in there and have a look as well.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
maybe it
yeah,
will, like, even though they've never maybe been to a museum, maybe they will now. They're like, "Well, that was kind
yeah,
of interesting.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
else is out there in the world?"
yeah, yeah. Right, this is one of my classic questions now. It's the $1,000,000 question. Everybody wants to know, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Easy. I know it's boring and generic and T-Rex. I love T-Rex. It's just big and bulky and kinda lopsided.
Absolutely.
It's got this giant head,
It's
teeth.
what every child, and we were child ones many years ago, many years ago. Um, it's what our first book would have had probably a T-Rex on the front. That's that image of a
Always, yeah.
T-Rex is probably the first image of a dinosaur any kid will probably see is probably a T-Rex.
Yes. I find that's changing now. A lot of young kids, because the media, a lot of
Yeah,
so many new dinosaurs are
yeah,
getting
yeah,
out into the
yeah.
general public that you'll have kids say all kinds of dinosaurs, and
No,
some of
yeah,
them I have to
absolutely,
look
yeah.
up. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
that is.
yeah, I even I don't know that one. Yeah, absolutely. I get that all the time. "Oh, have you seen a such and such a such a," and you think, "What the hell's that thing?" Yeah, I mean, the one that I found, quite not recently, but probably about 10 years ago, was I didn't realize there was actually one called the Byronosaurus, which
Oh,
which which
cool.
which which tickled me something. But yeah, I mean the classic ones are Stegosaurus, Triceratops, T-Rex. They're the classic ones
Hmm.
um, that I think everybody will probably have their first ever memories, or probably one of those three. I would have thought at some point.
Yeah, that's
Well,
awesome. It's really good.
this George has been fantastic. I mean, thank you so much for coming on and talking about fossil poo with me. It's been
Thank
absolutely fantastic. I mean,
thank you for having me, and thank you for your support over the years.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
always been so
yeah,
great to share interesting pieces you found,
yeah,
and
yeah. I don't
seeing
often
you in
find I
Tucson and
don't I,
everything.
I don't often find enough of them, but when I do offer one to you, it's probably one that I think that's going to be in the museum. Um, regular ones are not. I know you've got an awful lot of regular ones, so regular and talk and poo. It's like how many jokes can I put in? But
Yes.
because my staff said, "You're not gonna do dad jokes all the time," I said, "Well, there'll probably be quite a few." But no, this has been great. So where can people find you? And particularly online, obviously, people in the UK, but if they're visiting Arizona, whereabouts are you based and all that?
Absolutely. Thank you. It's been a pleasure participating in this. Very kind of you to invite me. You can check out the Poozeum at Poozeum, POOZEUM.com. If you put it in S, it goes there too. No worries. And the Poozeum is located in a town called Williams, Arizona. It's called the Gateway to the Grand Canyon. We're a short drive to the South Rim. And if you're in the Southwest making a road trip, seeing the national parks, we're an easy stop. We got a great town. Come in and say hi. I do get a lot of people, British folks coming in, seeing the place. I've had a couple from Wales come multiple times,
Yeah,
which was amazing. But uh, the museum is neat, but the town is incredible. And of course, you have the Grand Canyon. We're short. We're about 3.5 hours from Las Vegas, 3 hours from Phoenix, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful country that just goes on forever. The people are kind. It's it's really a wonderful place to visit.
that's great. That's great, George. Thank you very much. And again, thanks for coming, and thanks for everybody for listening today. And this has been the Fundamentals podcast, brought to you by fossilsuk.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please do like, subscribe, follow, leave a review and a comment. Maybe people want to share their dad jokes with us. Probably George,
Please
I
do.
think. Yeah, that'd be great. Um,
Love it.
yeah, love them. I can then use them on my fossil trips then. And yeah, please do like and subscribe and follow. Please leave a review and comment, and we'll see you in the next episode. And always remember, keep searching below your feet because you never know what you might find. Thank you very much. Until the next episode.